How many of these have you had?
9. 4 New York, 4 here, and Skype.
See the problem in this industry, they keep hiring these princesses.
When you look at me, you clearly see a victim. What do you really know about me?
You are an amazing actress, and I predict that you will have a successful future. Really.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
How did industry come to your life?
I got an email about this audition like I did any other audition. I taped at home a few scenes and I sent them off. Soon after that, I got a call that they liked my tapes and that I would do a couple more rounds. I met the writers, Mickey and Konrad, over Zoom. And then I met Lena Dunham. Then they were like, they want to send you to London. So I went over to London to test and meet the other actors. And then I think 2-3 days later, I got the call that I got the show.
Your character has a strong and tough line that says, I'm not allowed to make any mistakes. And I want you to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, us as minorities, a Black woman, is gonna have a lot less chances. I think unfortunately there's this still really archaic idea that we are meant to fail or that we don't belong there in the first place in environments like that. So our white, mostly male counterparts are gonna get more chances. They can make mistakes and make it up with, oh, well, I come from Eton, or I have this amount of money, or I know so-and-so who can back me up. And for people like Harper, she has no connects, she has no money, she has no status. All she has is her ability. So she has to prove her worth very early on and not make any mistakes, not give them any idea to think that she's not worthy of being kept there so that she doesn't risk losing her job. And I mean, I've experienced that in my life. I feel like there was never an opportunity for me to make a mistake.
You are becoming a role model. Maybe you were a role model already to your family and to your friends, but now that you are growing in this industry, more people get to know you. As of now, and maybe I'll ask you this question in like 10 or 20 years, what would you think that you give to people with your talent, with your way of being?
I've like always been a real big advocate for myself and for others of like, be yourself 100% of the time. And whatever is for you will find you, you know, success, love, whatever it is that you're looking for. Like, I truly believe whatever is right for you will find you if you continue to walk through the world as your perfect self, exactly as you are. So I just hope I inspire other people to, like, you know, be themselves all the time.
These sex scenes, I read in an interview that you did that you are aware that they help the storytelling. They're not just there because that sells, right? So how was that on set? The first scene that you did, how did they make you feel like safe and comfortable with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had two of the most amazing intimacy coordinators ever, Miriam and Ida. And the way that we did it was that they're completely choreographed. Nothing that you saw in the show was ever improvised in the intimacy scenes. Like, if you know exactly, like, my hand goes here, I take 2 breaths here, there's 2 kisses on this side and 1 on this side, my hand does this, then, you know, you're thinking about, like, oh, what's next? So your mind is occupied and you're focused, so there's no room to feel that insecure because you have to pay attention. And the other one is just for safety, you know, because any kind of improv, you have to make sure that there's some guidelines. So with something as sensitive as this, it's really important. It wasn't really important to me and important to us that it was there were no surprises. And I understand that some people are like, there's so much sex in this show, but also they're 20-somethings in the most stressful part of their life. Like, of course there's going to be a lot of sex in the show.
I know you were very excited to work with Lena Dunham. What did you learn about her?
She is the goofiest person I've ever met in my life, is what I learned about her, among many things. But she's just silly, like so silly. We had way too much fun on set, and actually, like, more often than not, an AD or somebody would be like, guys, we're shooting. Can you just, like, chill out? But other than her silliness, she has supported me in ways that, like, I never imagined a person who barely knows me would. And I am eternally grateful to her for that.
I don't know if you have any comments about fans, like really deep comments about how you've changed them.
There have been a handful, yes, mostly from young Black people who are in this industry or otherwise, young Black folks just saying how much they appreciated this story being told. It was mostly just like, thank you for telling this story with grace. And like my biggest thing is there's more than one Black experience. There's more than one Black story. And all of them are worthy of being told. And I think it's really important as an industry, we recognize that there isn't one type of Black person, there isn't one type of lesbian, there isn't one type, you know what I mean? We as people are not archetypes.
We have this topic nowadays more than ever about being an actor, being an actress, and not being able or being able to perform some characters if you don't think like this or if you haven't lived that, if you know what I mean, with all this. What are your thoughts about that?
That's really tough. I mean, when it comes to representation, I think as our industry has existed up until now, there has been a serious lack of diversity in that representation. If one type of person, let it be a white, straight, cis man, who is playing all kinds of different roles, if they're playing a trans woman, if they're playing a gay character, if they're playing a white cis character, you know, they have had more opportunity previously to play a wider variety of roles. And there's a lot of responsibility in doing that, because whether we like it or not, entertainment, TV, film, the media influences how we think and feel. So I think, as of now, representation needs those real people who can give you the depth of their stories. And until the opportunities are, you know, relatively equal and everyone's represented in the way they should be, until then, I think we ought to, you know, we ought to really push for the people who know those stories to play them.
Thank you for your time, for your answers, and for industry. And I hope that we talk someday in the future. I really wish you the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.